This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando. Hello everyone, welcome to Dice Commando, and tonight we are talking Star Wars Legion. So we recently got the full spoilers for the closed transports, being the Rebel Speeder Truck and the LAAT LE. While they are, of course, units on the table, I think they're a little more or less obvious to a lot of us in the Legion community. So tonight I'm joined by Keegan. He's an experienced player in his own right, but also a member of the Legion99 podcast and the Turn Zero YouTube channel. How's it going tonight, man?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to chat some Legion.
No, this was fantastic. I reached out to the Legion Discord, and I got a lot of responses, but you and I were able to hook up and get this done, so I appreciate you joining us. So kind of walk us through, what are we really talking about tonight? I mean, obviously the transports, but what else are we talking about?
Yeah, now I'm looking forward to talking with these new units out. These are the first closed transports, and they each bring their different flavor to the Rebel and Imperial, and in the case of the LAAT, the Imperial and the Gar army. And there's some new rules that folks need to get familiar with. The previous transports, I think, at least in the competitive scene, have not seen a ton of play. So understanding what the transport rules are, understanding what the latest updates to the transport rules with the version 2 RRG, and how these things can play on the table. Some of the previews we've gotten are really exciting because it's just some crazy fun stuff to change how the game plays, especially on the Rebel side.
All right. Well, I know I'm excited to get into this. Have you walk me through it. So we will be right back, and we'll talk everything this man just said. Hey, Legion friends, thanks again for joining us today. So again, huge thanks to joining us today, or for joining us today. Why don't you, for just real quick, everybody, quick rundown of who you are, what you do, your history with Legion, and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Keegan Evans. I've been playing Legion pretty much since it launched. I did not have a strong history of miniature games. I got kind of the gateway drug of X-Wing and Armada, trying to solve for some role-playing game stand-ups, and then found my way into Legion and talked myself into learning how to paint just to get a hold of this gameplay. Been a Rebel player the whole time, fairly well known for those who know me as something of a jank player. I tend to play pretty off meta. I love the Rogue One poster behind you. I've been a Jyn player from the very beginning of her coming out. And recently, so like LVO January 2019 was my first wargaming tournament ever in my life, and had an amazing time. Just loved the community. Came back and both played and judged at LVO 2020, and our last real life Legion event before the world ended. But looking forward to getting things going, and been helping. Enjoy giving back to the community, joining with the Legion99 guys and Turn Zero. And I love coming on talking more Legion with you.
All right. Well, again, this is great. Thanks for stepping up and jumping on the grenade to talk with me about this. And hopefully, I don't have too many stupid questions for you tonight. So yeah, let's basically get into it, right? So when the transports, I know there's a lot of excitement about the transports, but I think they're a little less obvious as units on how to use, at least in the current structure. And again, know that my background is I'm a clone player. I've got Rex and my clones, right?
Yep.
And I've recently built an Imperialist, and I'm playing with that, but I'm mainly a clone guy. So, like I said, this is less obvious, especially to somebody with my background. But there are others out there who I think we get the concept that what we're going to do is we're going to put some big, like I think Darth Vader's the best example, right? I mean, he's this big bad guy, but he's slow, and right now he kind of is not very good, right? Yeah. Well, yeah. I should say previously he's not very good. Maybe now he's good, right? So I think we get that general concept. But when I look at the points value of some of these, you kind of ask the question, would it, if I have to, basically give Vader a 100-point upgrade or whatever it is, is that then worth it, right? So I guess what are your generic thoughts there, or how would you talk me off that mountain, or lead me to the light on that one?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think that's on a lot of folks' minds right now. I think it's especially relevant that you're coming at it from the perspective of a Republic player. I think of these the two transports and three factions, how they fit, I think it's probably least obvious in the Republic faction based off the current play style and units available. I am interested in the Republic faction to see maybe there's a way of getting Anakin in a little bit better, where he doesn't have to be fully defensive and do a slow march up. But I think the points question is pretty tricky on the Republic side. Where I'm personally most excited about the LAAT is the Empire side. Like I said, I was a longtime Rebel player, but when I look at this, when I saw this LAAT, and I've been seeing some of the things coming out about it, I actually have spun up a list that involves flying Vader in and dropping him off. Battlefield prepped by Iden and the Inferno Squad, of course, because you can't just throw a single guy out there, even if you get him in fast. And having some fun overcoming that really slow plotting speed that he's got. So I see the LAAT as having really kind of two primary functions, and I am expecting that the value is going to come from building it out and focusing on either one of these two. And those are either transport or as a gunship. With its single gun on there, you said that it's a little bit more obvious, and then the ability to take those hard points, getting the bunker busters or the high velocity shells that the separatists have been using so effectively. That thing can get up there and really do some damage beyond just dropping an expensive unit in close. Kitted for transport, though, the Imperial TIE Pilot is super exciting to me because this is a unit with hover air. It also can strafe and reverse, which means by going up to a maximum speed 3, you can rush in there however you need to. Speed 3, it's on that large base, is going to get you in really fast, but then you can reverse and strafe at speed 2 because strafe and reverse only subtract 1 for your max speed, and that's going to be a very nimble unit. So I'm imagining a scenario where I've got Vader in there, I've got Iden and Inferno Squad infiltrated up. I mentioned I was a Jin player, so Jin and Pathfinders, I've been infiltrating to my doom for years now. But bringing Vader in for that turn 2 insertion, you can pop Master of Evil. You've got the now large base to be measuring the Master of Evil effect off of, and just start really have a suppression landing pad for him. Then the LAAT can just back off at speed 2 because I've got the Imperial TIE Pilot in there to get a little bit of space, but using those bunker busters to be scattering units, getting them out of cohesion, getting them where you need to, perhaps getting them in range of a Vader push or choke, or in an out of cover shot for Iden or the Inferno Squad that are up there. So I think that's the one technique that I'm thinking about using it for. I know a lot of people are also thinking about Palp, another slow mover.
Oh, sure.
Putting him in there and getting in there with the tickle fingers pretty early.
Okay, yeah, I mean that. So I did want to hit on one thing that you mentioned that I think is very important that I think a lot of people may not realize is you specifically mentioned the size of the base and how that's very relevant with these guys in terms of speed with moves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll do my best to make. I don't have it ready, but I will make a diagram to put it up. But the idea is right. Remember the way that we measure movement in Legion is from the tip to the back, right? So the larger bases obviously move effectively. They effectively move forward. I mean, or farther. Excuse me. Is that basically a good summary of that?
100%. A speed 3 move on the T-47 airspeeder gets me a 10-inch change in front location. So I can close 10 inches of range bands, which is almost 2 range bands in a single move. Whereas a speed 3 move with a small base trooper like Sabine is only 8 inches. And that can make a big difference when you're talking about getting in between that 1, 2, and 3 range band. And we do know that the base for the LAAT is a new base size. Luke Eddy revealed that on the Discord, I believe, during all the reveals. And it's going to be about 120 millimeters, which puts it somewhere a little bit bigger than the T-47 base and a little bit smaller than the AAT and Saber base.
And where does it fit with the Gav tank? It's relatively equivalent to that, right? Is that accurate?
So this one's a circular one, and the Gav is the
it's the long one, yeah. But in terms of size, the Gav's still longer.
I think so, yeah.
Okay,
and
fair enough.
I'm assuming that the AA5 is going to be on the same base as the Gav.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's where that relevance comes in. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I think we had a good lead in there naturally to kind of our plan.
Yeah.
I think it's more clear to most of us with the LAAT having the built-in gun that it can do that drop and then still be relevant. So let's go ahead and basically let me ask that question about the Rebel speeder truck. After I drop my dude, what's it do? Right? Like where do those points go?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I think that I'll caveat everything that we talk about here with there are 4 cards that have not been revealed for the speeder truck that I think are going to have a huge impact on what they do, and that's the crew cards. Through various leaks and kind of just taking a guess, we can expect that those are going to provide a continued support role. We'll probably have a medic, we'll probably have a repair, that sort of thing to continue to have relevance in there.
Oh, a medic, that'd be pretty hot.
Yeah, because in the article they make reference to a field ambulance and getting folks out of there. So I think there's going to be some interesting applications beyond just the drive-in with a big base that you haven't been able to shoot anything inside, and then your operative Luke or your Wookiees come charging out and just make a bad day. Where I think a lot of the real cool strength that we do know about comes is in some of the pilots that we're seeing. Shriv brings the first field commander to the Rebel army, and whether he's in the AA5 and therefore providing that being the only commander unit you need for like an operative Luke list, or whether he goes in, he also can go in other Rebel heavies, so he can bring that field commander and his really cool dodge and suppression free action to the land speeder or the air speeder. The other pilot that is exciting but possibly not necessarily in the AA5 is the Hotshot pilot, which brings Sharpshooter 1 to the unit that it's on. And that's something, playing the T-47 since pretty much the day the game came out, I'm pretty excited about, even though the T-47 is in a really great space after the latest rules and errata.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So given that Sharpshooter 1, I'm finding an extra 8 points in my lists anywhere that have a T-47. But the most fun thing that we're looking forward to having after we drop off the Wookiees or Luke is the Reckless Driver. And the Reckless Driver, you look at the art on this card and you just know everything you need to know about this. This card is going to give you a mandatory compulsory move. You can't reverse anymore. This thing just drives. It's designed to drive through hordes of B1s. So running them over, and the cool trick on this one is once per activation, you get to, if you run over a unit, they have to roll white dice, 1 white die for every mini in the unit, and much like clambering, hits cause a wound. So, blocks cause the wound. I think it's a defense die. So this is the Rebel truck that is just going to come in, drop off its payload, and then just continue to cause havoc.
And then how does the displacement on that work? Is it like a scatter or?
It's standard displacement rules. So as if you're rolling it over. It's a hover ground vehicle, which means that all other units treat it as a ground vehicle. Okay. Just like the AAT. But so it'll be driving in, and if you hit everyone except for the leader, they get recohered against the leader, take the suppression, and then have the Reckless Driver effect take hit. If you hit the leader, they get to move the leader up to a speed 1.
Gotcha.
Away.
Gotcha.
That's a great actually feed into another advantage of it is because it's hover ground, all other units treat it as a ground unit, which means it's a very solid piece of line of sight blocking heavy cover in there. So and it's a long mini too. So I could see a case where you drive it up, you put it at an angle, and now you've got your own line of sight terrain for your short range units, your fleets, your Mandalorians to move up. Any Wookiees you left on foot to move up with and keep them a little more protected than before.
Okay. So in our pre-chat, I mean, that's a good lead in as well, because in our pre-chat, you were talking a lot about some of the new rules. Would you mind walking us through what do you think maybe what you think either the points of interest would be, or at least the big hitters kind of coming out of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So like we said earlier, this is the first closed transports that we've had. And one of the biggest differences between the transports we had previously, which were open, and this is that under the new RRG, you cannot actually target the unit that is being transported. So in the land speeder or in the Gav tank, I'm going to put Han in a land speeder one of these days for land speeder gunslinger, but he can be directly targeted and shot out of that thing. You put Operative Luke, you put your Wookiees inside the AA5, and they can't be hurt by anything unless the truck itself is destroyed. At that point, they take 1 wounded, 1 suppression as they fall out, which on a unit of Wookiees isn't too bad. It's not the best way to get them in, but it's certainly survivable.
Well, I mean, considering the damage they would have taken to get to where they were, it's not that bad, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely. One of the other things about transports is if you take 2 move actions with the transport, then the unit inside can only do a disembark. But if the transport only moves once during that round, then the transported unit can spend an action to disembark, which is get placed at base contact with the transport, and then make a speed 1 move, and then take a second action. So that's really powerful on your charge units, your relentless units that are going to be able to get in there with those larger bases, get started on the field at the most advantageous base contact point, make a speed 1 move from that, and then do their follow-on speed 2 moves, getting into where they need to be.
Okay. You have another. So covering the disembark, I think, was something that we needed to cover for sure. Absolutely. How about any other kind of weird stuff that's come out, or maybe not weird, just valuable stuff that's come out of this?
Yeah, no, good things to think about. Units in closed transports cannot take actions. However, they do receive tokens from other effects. So if there's a unit that has retinue, for example, and they can receive that free token. A unit with reliable will receive that free surge. I talked briefly about Vader's effect with Master of Evil. He's not going to take an action that causes something, but if you play the Master of Evil card, when you activate him from within that transport, you measure line of sight and range from the transport itself. So you get great line of sight. You get, and that's where you get that extra bubble on a Master of Evil turn or something like that, because if he's inside, when he activates, you're measuring that 3 suppression at range 1 to 2 from the base of the transport.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. And then you mentioned reliable. How does that? I mean, I know what reliable does, but how does that work? Because they're not moving. Yeah, how does that work exactly?
Yeah, so say you put a unit of, I referenced Anakin earlier. So say you've got Anakin in the transport, you've already played his 3-pip, so he's got Reliable 2 and Exemplar. He can be riding around in the transport. He's got his 2 surge tokens on him. And then any units that are around within range 2 of, again, measured by the measured from the transport, can benefit from his Exemplar and use his surge tokens.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because I was thinking because reliable, you have to make the move to get it, right? So
reliable's sorry, I may be talking about something. Reliable is the free search token at the beginning of the round, but phase 2s have and.
You're right. Reliable. Okay, I'm sorry. I was confusing it with the one you have to with tactical.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
This is why we have you here.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. I'm going to overextend myself. I don't think. No, tactical wouldn't work because even though the unit is being transported,
yeah, it's not moving.
In theory, moving, it's not performing.
Yeah, that makes way more. So that's why I was like, but it's not moving. Okay, sorry. Let's back. No. Good info. Good info.
That is a relevant one though, because with the recent changes to kind of mitigate the turn zero tokens, and so tactical is less effective on speed speed X moves. It is important to note that a unit with tactical or a unit with offensive push cannot gain that aim token from the disembark speed one move.
Yeah,
they would only get it from a subsequent move.
And disembark is treated just as a normal action, right?
Yep. Disembark and it is a move action. You have to dig through the rules reference. This was a debate on the rules forum, or the rules channel, I think, on the Discord. But it is considered a move action with a speed one move inside of it. So but it's not a standard move, but it's
not a standard move. Okay, there you go. Right. That's why it doesn't trigger. Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. So, we talked a bit earlier. I'm backing us way up, but we talked a bit about the gun platform part of the LAAT, excuse me. So one of the questions I had for you, and this is completely theory, like there's no rule behind this, completely theory, right?
Absolutely.
I find it very interesting, right? We know that the different factions have different roles, they have different point values. We've especially seen that in the version 2.0 rule. I find it interesting. I'm not saying broken, I'm not saying it's a problem, to be very clear. I just find it interesting that the Empire and the the clone version of the LAT has the same point value, whereas it may not serve the same function in each army. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a good observation. It's consistent with the other dual faction units that we've seen so far. R2 is 40. Well, and when he was raised the same amount for both Rebels and the Republic to be 45. I think that it probably is. I mean, it's obviously intentional. I think it probably serves an okay purpose for the base unit. I will say that this isn't helping any of the salty Imperial players out there, but the clone pilots air less than the Imperial pilots in point cost. So the overall point cost as you're loading this thing out is a little bit less if you're putting pilots in there. Where the Imperials sit at, I think, 8, 10, and 12 for their pilot costs. It looks like the Republic has 4, 8, and 10. So.
Okay.
A little bit of savings there to squeak in, probably to account for that more generally expensive clone unit piece. But yeah, I do think that the higher costs or the relatively high cost of it is certainly a factor. I don't expect to see this a ton in Republic lists early on. I am going to buy one so I can paint one as an Imperial, one as a Gar. But I already said I'm an off meta player, so.
Yeah, we know. Let's go ahead. Let's just pull the cork out, right? We know Wookiees are coming, right? We know the Wookiees are coming. Yeah. We know Yoda's coming. So what we're talking about specifically with that, we may have no idea what we're talking about. We generally don't have an idea what we're talking about, right? But this could just be the precursor to all that. Plus, didn't we see the Fluttercraft too? Not that that's a transport, but we saw that as well, right?
We did, and I have my wild crazy hot take is that the Fluttercraft might show us some sort of transport Wookiee warriors only or something like that, because we did see in Revenge of the Sith the Wookiees jumping off the Fluttercraft to attack the snail tanks. So I'd love to see something cool and fun thematic there. But yeah, no, I think this is still going to be a primary. It's going to be a great option for transporting Wookiees, and we are going to see some new stuff. The Republic meta, and even not the meta, even just kind of building the list, relies heavily on that clone trooper keyword, and it relies heavily on squeaking out points to really stack up a gun line right now. Those are the predominantly successful Republic lists that I've seen. I think that the new units coming out, starting with the LAAT, are going to be advantageous to folks who are challenging those base assumptions. So we might start to see, much like we saw the Rebels shift a couple years ago into just taking 3 naked Rebel troopers to meet that core requirement and then doing other goofy stuff. I think that's where the Republic probably is going to have to start exploring that space to really leverage these units coming in. I'm definitely interested to see what both the revealed and the unrevealed Kashyyyk Wave units do for the Republic list building.
Yeah, I have a theory. I think we're gonna. I mean, I don't know, but I think we're gonna get some core unit Wookiees and try to like do the whole
Yeah.
theme. But
That'd be cool.
because
That'd be cool. I
otherwise,
like that one.
otherwise maybe they're just gonna like re-release the Wookiee warriors and dual purpose them or something like that. I don't know. But it'd be cool to
we
see
do know
core
they're-
Wookiees.
Absolutely. We do know that they're coming for both Rebels and Republic. They'll be dual factioned, and we do know that they're going to be coming out with the Wookiees that we know with the range 2 and the bowcaster, but also Wookiees carrying those carbines that you see if you look really closely. That'll start with a base of range 3 and have some trade off probably in the melee to be more of that range firepower. So yeah, it's cool to see them playing around with previous units re-released in new and interesting ways. I like that for dynamic list building.
Yeah, I mean customization it's all the rage, right? It's the way to
100%.
go. So
Absolutely.
fair enough. Let's see. Let's make sure I hit all my stuff. Yeah, I think I did. So I mean, I guess the takeaway is we're excited.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's always new stuff's always exciting, not just because we don't have a huge release cadence, but because it changes stuff. So do you have any bold predictions? LVO 2022 is a double LAT list or something like that, right? No.
I don't know if I can go so bold as to say the double heavy list. Although I did see a double heavy list almost make it into the top 8 at the last LVO. I think you know what? Here's the bold prediction I'll make. I think that we're going to see successful Republic lists that don't involve arc strike teams at LVO 22. That may be wishful thinking on my part, but that's going to be my bold stake in the ground.
So you're going to place your Vegas bets on Wookiees, is what I'm hearing.
I'm happy to do that. Yeah, Wookiee Special Forces stacked all the way.
I like it. All right, you heard it here first, folks. All right, well, I think we're about done. But I mean, first, I want to thank you again for taking the time tonight. But the reason it's dark behind both of us is because we had to wait for our kids to go to bed. So we both know how that is. But I wanted to give you a chance for some parting shots, and of course to plug your stuff and what you guys are doing over on your channels.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on. This was I loved the question that opened it up in the Discord, and our conversations getting ready to understand this. I think this is a great area to explore. You said it. I'm excited about the new stuff coming out, specifically the AA5 and the LAAT. I'm really excited because I think this vehicle and transport space is something that hasn't really been done a lot at all, and hasn't been utilized. And I'm really excited to see this new kind of gameplay come in and what it can do to just make more fun and thematic games.
Because we've seen the E-Web to a limited extent, right? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah. Yep. You can put the E-Web in the back of the occupier. I think I've seen that a couple times. The occupier suffers, I think, from a height thing, especially when we've been fairly limited in the ways that we can play over the last year. I'm really excited to see what we do with it, what we do here. So.
Awesome. Well, so you are a Legion99 guy and Turn Zero. So how can people find you, get more information on them? Or on those, excuse me, on those.
Yeah. Legion99, wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple Music. We're on, I think, Spotify and Podbean. And I think things like Amazon Podcasts and Google pick up from there. So you can probably find Legion99 wherever you get your podcasts. Turn Zero is our sister show. We have the YouTube channel for Turn Zero. And then I also host Turn Zero lists, which are little mini-sodes released in the Legion99 stream, where I spend 15 minutes talking to someone about their favorite list and their process of building it, and then we have a fun lightning round.
Nice. Is that more on the competitive side or casual side, or a mix, or?
Looking for a mix. I think we've definitely skewed a little bit. We're just getting started with it, so it's been mostly a co-host and I, and bringing in guests as we can get them. I think I definitely want to kind of expand it out. Legion community is great, but it's also still relatively small. We definitely have some key personalities who are doing a great job at the top of the competitive scene, and we're really interested in expanding the exposure for the up and comers who are thinking in different ways and really loving the game across the board. So yeah, that's where the target audience is for that. And then Turn Zero, the show's on YouTube, and in that we bring the lists that were created on the list episodes, put them together. We put a map up and have a walkthrough of the Turn Zero battle deck selection, and then decompose the choices that went into that to help folks understand more and more and up their game in that critical part of the game.
Well, that sounds like something that I need to spend more time watching. So after we connected, I checked it out a bit, but I need to put more time in that for sure. Because
absolutely, yeah,
putting a list together and painting it is one thing, right? So
totally.
All right, well, awesome. And then you also mentioned that you have another side project.
I do, yeah. My neighbor and I put our heads together, and our pandemic project was he really loves 3D printing and is teaching himself 3D design, and I really love the game side, and kind of like what is it, the chocolate and peanut butter going together. We came up with 6-up supply, so we've been having a great time. Just hit our year anniversary. I just got the renewal notice on the website registry. We focus on premium gaming accessories. We've got some really nice turn counters. We do these custom mine tokens.
The mines are really cool. I'm not right now, but I'll put them up when I do the editing. They're really cool.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Awesome. And then we've also started to branch into electronics. We see some of these really awesome custom LED things that folks do, and we want to try. We're working on ways to make that easier and accessible for people. So we've got these all-in-one chips that create the LEDs. We're looking and our custom bases. We also have illuminated supply crates to go along with your objectives or your conditions, and a series of other things. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you a semi-exclusive first look at our newest product.
Oh, hold on, let me get you full screen here.
Absolutely. All right, and in honor and respect of our of my connection with Turn Zero, soon on the store are Turn Zero Battle Deck Veto tokens in the form of everyone's favorite non-copyrighted space poker game. We'll be offering those in packs of 4, red and blue, to match the players. And I especially love these because we print them and we insert a nice little heavy stainless steel washer in there, so it's got some real heft on there. So as you're vetoing cards, no more struggling to pick up that sleeved card with fingernails off the table. You can just pop the veto token right down on top. Coming soon. So.
All right. Well, I got the screen all put back together there. Thanks for dealing with us, guys. Wanted to make sure you could see that well. So, I mean, awesome. I think that's about it. We're pushing up on our. I mean, we went a little over, but this was fantastic. So, permission to have you on again, sir. This was fantastic.
I'd love to come on anytime, and I'd love to figure out a time to get you on Turn Zero lists and Turn Zero.
Awesome. Well, for those of you who have joined us and you guys have questions, make sure to put them in the comments. I definitely read them. I'm sure Keegan will as well. He can, or at the very least, I can get you the answer and contact him. So please feel free to like, subscribe, check out his stuff as well. And if nothing else, folks, thanks for joining us, and go Commando. Thank you.